Hey everybody, it's Charlie and Christopher from Daily Motor. Today we've got a fun comparison, one we've been wanting to put together for a while now, the Escape plug-in hybrid and the RAV4 Prime, aka plug-in hybrid, as it says right on the side of the vehicle. They're both in red, they're both mostly dead, and we're gonna go drive them both and talk about some of the pros and cons. We're gonna do this one a little bit differently. We're gonna each get behind the wheel of one, go out, call each other, and then kind of talk about the cars as we drive them through the same sections of our test loop, and then switch up, come on back, have a little bit of a wrap-up discussion. Hopefully the audio turns out all right. I think it should be good, but if we get any weird sort of echoes in the phone situation, then we'll kind of address those in post, hopefully.
Yes, the magic of editing.
Exactly. The sound turned out to not be an issue at all. What actually ended up being a problem is my GoPro decided to fail. So, while the beginning is very normal and this video went according to plan, the video about quarter of the way through goes to Chris Brower only. So, sorry, it's still content worth saving, but just gonna have to put up with the slightly less than ideal video format. They're both kind of neat looking. The Escape looks more of a city car, I would say. This is the SEL trim, so it's not quite the top dog titanium, whereas we do have a top of the line XSE RAV4 Prime coming in at about $50,000, whereas this one costs just under $41,000. A fully kitted out Escape plug-in titanium would get you around $45,000, but you'd still be messing with front wheel drive, whereas the Escape or the RAV4 comes in all-wheel drive standard. The all-wheel drive RAV4 looks a little bit more rugged. We've got these silly roof rails on there, which on a press car just add noise and reduce fuel economy, so kind of weird that those are on there. But you do have a little more rugged look as these. Yes, that adds 10 off-roading points.
Yes.
Because you're not gonna.
And they're piano black.
Scrape
too.
up your paint.
Sparkly.
Yeah, yeah, they are
and the
really.
Escape, you just get this sort of flat black plastic trim.
Which I actually wonder if that would be better for getting rocks hitting it and everything.
Absolutely. This looks cooler.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah. This one is also quite a bit faster. We'll talk about that on the road. It's 302 horsepower compared to 221 combined. But this one weighs about 500 pounds more with the all-wheel drive system, a little bit larger battery, probably more sound deadening, and whatever other things Toyota's adding. The roof rails, clearly, does add a few hundred pounds each. If you want to see more on kind of a breakdown of the interiors and what you can expect from each, check out some of our other videos. I'll throw the links in the description. We'll be covering both. We've already covered the RAV4, and we'll be covering this one as well. Christopher's going to shoot a review on it, which we probably got to figure out when he's going to do that. Probably tomorrow. But they're both fairly similar. They're both compact crossovers. They're both going to provide you a decent amount of room in the rear, decent amount of room for your junk in the trunk. So we're a little bit more concerned with what are they like to drive and kind of what you might expect from the ownership experience. So without much more ado, let's get behind the wheel.
All right, sounds good.
The interior of the Escape is quite different from the RAV4. It's much more vertical, as Christopher pointed out. It feels a little bit more a minivan or bus-like. Everything's placed far in front of you. You get a good amount of leg room. The materials don't feel as nice. There are some sharp edges. At least where your elbows go, it's squishy, but a lot of the other things you have to touch regularly, like the volume knob, the blinkers, they don't feel quite as premium and don't feel like quite as nice of a product. But overall, it's functional, and I will go as far as to say maybe a little bit more geared toward a smaller individual, from the seats to kind of the layout of everything.
Yeah, and you were even saying to me yesterday that you got out of that and into the RAV4, and you were like, I understand what you mean about not having a leather steering wheel, because you didn't think that car had a leather steering wheel, even though it does, but the leather quality is just really not there.
No, it really isn't. It just doesn't feel nearly as nice in the hand as the RAV4. The initial, if someone were to get right into one and out of the other, there's a clear difference in just overall inspiration and feel.
Oh, totally. We've got all kinds of like lines and just aspects to this dash. Like you've got sort of layers in it. You've got a little storage pocket, and there's leather on the dash. Like everything in here just appears and feels, and all of your touch points, they're just a little bit nicer, and they feel more sort of carefully placed, and you don't have any real sharp edges in here. You've got nice rubber behind your grab handles. The seats are a very soft leather. The steering wheel's a nicer leather quality. We've even got red stitching on there. I just think the overall feel of everything in the RAV4 is just a little bit nicer. If we use the tier system like you do, Charlie, in your sound system tests, this is more of like, this is like a B+ tier interior, and the Escape is like a C-.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a step down. There are certain aspects of it that I think can come down to personal preference, whether that's the visual design, kind of how things are laid out. I do find myself having to reach really far up in the RAV4 to get to the touchscreen, and the infotainment seems a little bit more dated. But overall, yeah, I think objectively speaking, you have to admit that the RAV4 does just seem like a higher tier of luxury.
Oh yes.
This feels lighter on its feet. You did mention that driving them both on the highway, it comes from a mixture of the steering weight. It feels less significant, and that doesn't necessarily mean bad. Some people like a very tank-like feel when they're driving. They want to feel like they're driving a really heavy, chunky piece of machinery around that makes them feel confident and inspired. Other people like things to feel a little bit more lightweight, a little playful. I think we found that a bit with the Nissan Leaf. It was almost kind of fun with how insignificant it felt. But it, again, comes down to personal preference.
This RAV4 is tanky, I would say. It does feel quite large and heavy, but it really makes up for that in the power department with 302 horsepower. Even though it does weigh a little bit more, it still has really good pickup, and it's almost funny when you get on the gas in this, the internal combustion engine motor kicks in, and then like half a second to a second later, the electric motor kicks in, and it feels like turbo boost. It's pretty sweet.
Let's roll race him here real quick.
Okay.
Let's just
make sure I'm in the right mode.
Yeah, just get in hybrid mode. Oh, yeah, let me go into sport here too before this Escape gets up on us, or Explorer.
Okay. 3 honks. Do you want me to honk us in?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, ready? Go on the 3rd honk.
Yep.
Oh, goodbye.
Oh no! Delivery from Gackleby. You hustle it around the corner like I can. You have to load an extra 500 pounds.
Yeah, that's true.
Get through overseer.
Yeah.
I have no sort of pedal shifters, but I don't really think it matters because we're piloting a CVT.
I'm gonna follow your line through here. Oh, it's all understeer. Whoa! Yeah, definitely in the cornering department, you've got me there for sure.
And this, as soon as you let off the gas on this, the revs die down immediately. Even though we're in sport mode, it's not really a sporty. I don't really know what sport does in this car to be fair, because I mean, maybe it just makes the power come on a little bit sooner in the throttle.
Yeah.
But at least that one you could manually hold gear. Is that a CVT in that car? It must be.
Oh yeah, it's a CVT. Come on, it's a Toyota. They're all CVTs.
Yeah.
Silly Toyota. Ride test. Oh yes, the ride's good in this.
Yeah, they both ride pretty well. I mean, I'm impressed with the weight of the vehicles. I think they're both pretty well damped.
Yeah.
Suspension choices. If we go back into normal mode, the way that both of these vehicles handle their EV only modes are a little bit different. In the Toyota, if you go, if I'm not mistaken, go into all electric and then floor it, the gas motor does not turn on. Is that correct?
If you're in EV only mode, auto EV in. EV mode. Okay, I'm in full EV. Yep, you're right. I'm floored and the gas motor did not kick on.
Right. In this car, it's sort of similar. If you floor it, the gas motor doesn't come on. However, there is a little message that pops up on the screen that says press OK to get the engine on. And I think that's probably because right here. Press OK to enable engine. I press OK, and all of a sudden the engine kicks in and pulls me a little stronger.
Okay.
And I think that's because the electric powertrain in this is not as powerful as the RAV4, and I could see you being in a position where you need it to get on the gas, and you're like, what the heck's going on? Like, I'm trying to get out of the way of a semi or something.
Yep, just press OK.
So they kind of give you that, that option. Now, in other vehicles, such as the Outlander plug-in hybrid that we drove, that, believe it or not, is a competitor to these,
is it
that
though?
one actually had a kick-down pedal, and if you pushed through that button, then it engaged the engine. I think that's kind of a neat way to do it.
That is definitely, yeah, especially when you're in the sort of situation where you're trying to get out of the way of a semi, you're not really looking to press OK on the steering wheel to be able to do so. You want to just be able to mash the pedal and you know, do your thing, so.
Or in the case of the RAV4, you'd actually have to change a mode to get the engine to
True, true. But speaking of modes, my modes are better because my dial lights up different colors depending on what mode I'm in.
That is pretty neat, but you don't have a fancy dash animation that comes up and shows you a nice, peaceful, well-paved road for normal, and then a checkered flag for sport.
What is the Versa Note doing?
Being a Versa Note.
I'm in manual mode. We're gonna try that out here. Oh man! Oh my God! That escape.
Kept up pretty well for having that extra weight.
Yeah, not too bad. That escape looks hilarious on the entrance ramp. It was like you were like crab walking.
I will say the technology is a little bit more advanced in the RAV4. I think the active lane keeping acts a little bit better. It's a little bit more confident than the Toyota.
Yeah, definitely.
It gives you a green steering wheel symbol and says, right now, okay, I got the lane, bro. And then continues to go out of the lane. No. Overall, it will hold pretty decent.
Yep. Mine is
not bad, but it's a little bit more river.
Mine is holding right now. My hands are off the wheel, and it's going around this corner with no problem.
That is pretty good. So probably pretty common.
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. When we did our fuel economy test earlier, I was thinking that they're pretty close.
My one complaint with Toyota's adaptive cruise control system is that they're always too conservative. Even on the closest following distance, it starts to slow down a good ways from the car ahead of you. You're like, come on.
Oh yeah, it does. Plus,
I don't know if the Ford is much better.
Right, but this also takes a while to speed up once the person moves. Though, I mean, that's pretty much every system, Hyundai included, so.
Yeah, I think there are not too many that really sprint back. Although some brands allow you to change
what on earth? Brake test.
Yeah, I guess so. Typical Compass drivers don't really know how to drive.
Is that a Compass or a Cherokee? It's a Cherokee.
I never know.
Wow, look at that animation with the checkered flag. Slippery.
Yep. Cool gauges.
Yeah, it's got a fully digital cluster in this. I guess I didn't realize that.
You couldn't be bothered to capitalize my name in your phone?
I don't know, I just typed it in. I will say I don't love Ford's rotary shift dial, but this is the same one that you get in the Shelby GT500, so that's pretty cool, right?
How do you not love the dial? It's so easy to use.
I don't love the... Okay, so here's the thing, right? In this car, it's fine, and I like that it doesn't spin continuously. I like that it locks into drive. But in the Shelby, it's too much of a gimmick. I don't enjoy it in that.
I do agree that in cars like the Mach-E, where it just spins forever, even if you're already in gear, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I like it to hit an end. But in this car, you're taking up half of the center console area with just the shifter.
Yes, but it's very satisfying.
That is true. Okay, bye. This is also satisfying.
Oh no, nothing I can do about that.
Much darker in here. Chris probably appreciates this interior because it has a black headliner.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of beige, though. This is... I'm gonna put the... I think in this instance it's okay because, oh no, the sunroof's opening. Did not ask it to do that. Okay. In this instance, it's okay because most of the interior is tan anyways, so like it doesn't look that bad. I just don't like when cars have, now that I think about it, what color is the headliner in that car? Is it black?
Yeah.
I don't like when cars have a full black interior and then they have a beige headliner. It just doesn't look right.
Fair enough.
This one's fine though I will say, you've got tan seats, the bottom of the dash is tan, the headliner's tan, and the door panels are solid black from top to bottom.
That was just a UAW worker who didn't realize that he was supposed to put tan doors.
I was thinking that when I first got into this car. Sometimes I think that with press cars, I'm like, did they like forget to do something? I was driving the Jetta GLI in North Carolina, and the front door panels had leather and the rear ones didn't. And I was like, did somebody put the wrong door panels in this car?
It's just the semiconductor shortage for leather.
That's right.
Yeah. This feels more like a premium product. It's not necessarily to say the Escape feels bad, but you feel like you're getting all of your extra $10,000 for paying for this.
Yeah, and I think that the fact that this one's an SEL, I mean, SEL should still be pretty nice. It's only one tier from the top, the titanium. But the fact that you have a manual passenger seat in this car is a little bit irritating, especially with the fact that it doesn't go down far enough, and if you're over 6 foot, your head touches the ceiling. So I don't love that. There's no leather on the dash whatsoever at all, and I'm not sure that there is in the titanium either. I'm not going to say for sure, but if there was, I don't know where they'd put it because it's all like hard material everywhere. So
the Escape only has about 2,000 miles on it, and it has more rattles inside than this does with over 10,000 autojournalist miles, which you know is about a million miles. In real world.
11 million billion miles.
Yes. And there was something in the Escape, like right up by the headliner on the highway was like making noise, was vibrating, and again, this journey doesn't feel like going, so I guess I'm just going to send it.
Why were they? Well, they let you go, but they don't like the other red SUV.
No, I think they were just texting.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Either that or it's a Dodge Journey and they put it in a drive and nothing happened.
Yeah. Oh! No, this is... Okay, this car feels better around the entrance ramp. Like, quite a bit better.
Yeah, I could go about 5 miles per hour faster in the Escape than I could in this.
I exited at like 62.
Yeah, I only exited at 57.
Okay, something's rattling in the back of this too, and I noticed that when I was with the Topher in this car a couple days ago, right when we were first driving it, something is rattling and it sounds like it's something loose on the outside of the car. Did you notice that?
Yes, I did. I noticed that in both my drives. Here, come up on the left of me and I'll take a look and see if I can see anything flapping.
It totally sounds like something's flapping. I don't know if it's under the car or if it's just like on the side or what.
No.
No?
Come, switch lanes with me. Just see the other side. No, I mean, the thing looks fine.
It's very, very weird. It could be some sort of loose clip or something that's like rattling around on the inside of the door.
Yeah, that's just embarrassing.
Yeah, it's not super ideal.
And I think that kind of comes down for me, as someone who's owned multiple Fords, my first car was a Ford, from a Ford family, so many of the stupid things that Ford has done over the last 5 years or so, and some of the issues that you see in like the Mach-E production and the Bronco production, it just makes you wonder, like, what else is Ford skimping on? And when you're talking about dropping $40,000 or $50,000 on a fairly mundane product like a crossover, why don't you just buy the car that might not be quite as exciting to drive, but you know is going to be dead reliable for decades, and just be a solid. I mean, this one's built in Japan, so this one even feels more solid than your standard RAV4. And don't get me wrong, if we're talking something like a Maverick or a Mustang or F-150, something that you can't really get from another brand, I get it. buy a Ford. It's a good product. It's cool. Even something like a Bronco Sport, which looks different and kind of makes you feel cool from behind the wheel. I would totally go that. But when you're talking like something like an Escape, when there also exists the CR-V, the RAV4, the Tucson, the whatever, the Sportage, I guess it is from Kia.
Yeah.
All those different options that you know are being built better. I don't know, man. For me, it would be hard to justify buying a Ford Escape.
I agree with that. Now that you've brought up rattles, I can hear them all and they're driving me nuts. So I'm going to completely agree with everything that you just brought up.
And I guess it's one thing if you just needed a car to lease for cheap and you lived in Metro Detroit, so the lease deals are just basement bottom low.
Yeah.
And like me, for example, I could get Z-Plan because of family members and stuff. Yeah, you could probably lease an Escape for much cheaper than you can lease a RAV4.
Yeah.
But if it came to actually buying one, and especially an expensive one like these plug-in hybrid models, the few miles per gallon better that the Escape gets is not worth it.
No, and I would also just, I mean, with the practicality of this versus a Maverick, I feel like I would just get the Maverick. Like, why would you not?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And the Maverick's cheaper, and it's a hybrid. It's not a plug-in hybrid, but it's a 2.5 hybrid. I built an XLT Maverick yesterday on the builder, and the lease on that thing, like a fully loaded XLT, was like $290 a month or something. It was so cheap.
Yeah, with only like a few grand down.
Yeah, with like 2,600 down and first month's payment, it was like under $300 a month to lease that. So.
Yeah, and then you're getting a cool product that's unique. I mean, the only time I guess I could see recommending the Escape plug-in over the RAV4 is you do have to admit it is quite a bit cheaper. So if you wanted to get into a plug-in hybrid vehicle with decent usable space inside for a family or whatever you need your compact crossover for, and you don't really care much about all-wheel drive, you could, after rebates and everything and cash on the hood, maybe a lease deal, you could probably get an Escape plug-in for quite a bit cheaper than a RAV4.
Oh, 100%.
So that's kind of, I kind of think it's only for someone who really is budget conscious and doesn't want a Mitsubishi because they want their seat to actually stay in one position. But no, the RAV4 is the more premium product, and it's kind of tough to say. I mean, it's certainly not coming from any sort of bias, because I'm not the world's biggest fan of the RAV4 Prime. I think it's a little overhyped. But I gotta give credit where credit is due and acknowledge that this is a very well-built vehicle, and the Ford just doesn't feel that way.
Yep, I will agree with that. I was just gonna say another way you could consider recommending the Escape plug-in is if someone's heart was set on an Escape, you could go, well, Ford makes a plug-in Escape, and then you could recommend it in that way. I'm just trying to be nice.
If your heart's set on one of these two, neither of them are that bad, but I would take the RAV4, and as we heard from Christopher, he would as well.
You heard it here first. If you're considering an Escape or a RAV4, buy a used Honda Accord.
There you go.
There you go.
The Daily Motor motto.
Drive on.
Thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see any more on either of these cars, we've got the whole gamut. Sound system tests, fuel economy tests, individual reviews. We've got them all. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie, and that's Christopher from Daily Motor. And as always, drive on.